Loving Sai Ram and greetings from Prashanthi Nilayam. As I go through Hemad Pant's priceless narration of the life of Shirdi Baba, one thing that strikes me is that his narrative is generously interspersed with deep adoration for Baba. What I am trying to say is he is not a strict storyteller, but a devotee who incidentally narrates stories. And why? Because listening to the stories of the Lord would uplift and help the listener to bear the burden of life. God, says Hemad Pant, is the ultimate refuge. He is like the ocean that receives all rivers but never sends any back. When devotees pray to Baba, he showers his grace on them by granting them darshan. Listen now to the story of simple Cholkar of Thane. Now this Cholkar was once listening to a musical discourse by devotee Das Ganu. Das Ganu was a great practitioner of the art known as Harikatha. Harikatha literally means story of Hari, the Lord, and is narrated in musical form. Harikatha performers have a traditional attire they wear when doing Harikatha or performing Harikatha. Once, when performing in Shirdi, Baba suddenly asked Das Ganu to get rid of this ornate dress. From that day, Das Ganu merely wore a garland, keeping the upper part of his body bare, using just a chipla, a wooden contraption for timekeeping. Incidentally, Das Ganu used to sing songs composed by him on various devotees, but with encouragement from Chandorkar, Das Ganu switched over to songs in praise of Shirdi Baba and thereby did much to spread Sai worship. Let us now get back to Cholkar. This man Cholkar was a poor fellow with a big family to support. One day he heard Das Ganu sing the glory of Baba. He then intensely prayed to Baba to help him pass an examination that qualified people for a government job. Cholkar vowed that if he passed and got the job, he would distribute sugar candy in Baba's name. Now people often pray, seek a favor from God and make vows. In His mercy, the ever-compassionate God grants the favor sought. But alas, the favor having been received, people often forget their vows. This happened in Cholkar's case also. After some time, however, Cholkar realized his mistake, and to atone for it, he decided he would skip sugar altogether. He gave up consuming sugar in any form and even took tea without sugar. Also, he decided he must go to Shirdi and fall at Baba's feet as a gesture of further atonement. So, to Shirdi, Cholkar went. There he had a friend named Jog, and with Jog, Cholkar went for Baba's darshan. After that, he distributed candy and his heart became full. Just then, with much love, Baba said to Jog, "Serve this man tea, well sweetened with sugar." Cholkar was astonished to hear these words, and his eyes swelled with tears. That was when he realized that Baba knew how he abstained from taking sugar. Suddenly, Baba made it even more clear by saying, "Cholkar, your promised sugar candy has reached me, and so your vow is now fulfilled. You took the vow when your mind was agitated. You thought it was a secret, but I know about it. I may be here in my physical body, and you may be far away beyond the 7 seas. Yet, whatever you do there, I know it here instantly. It is I who abide in your heart, and it is me whom you should worship always. Insects or animals or whatever, I pervade them all, always. Hence, do not consider yourself separate from me." Cholkar was, of course, completely knocked out when he heard this. As for the last part of Shirdi Baba's remark, how many times has our beloved Swami said to us the very same thing, adding, "You and I are one." By the way, when Shirdi Baba was telling Cholkar these things, there were many who were listening to all this. Thus, those words spoken to Cholkar were meant for all those in Baba's presence at that time, and also to you and me who have come 100 years or so later. This is the way God sometimes stages his drama. He uses people around him as excuses to convey something or to teach a lesson. The story of the lizards that some of you might already be aware of is another example of this strategy. This story goes like this. One day in the masjid, Baba was seated with some of his devotees when a lizard, which had parked itself on a wall nearby, began to chirp. I don't know how it is now, but in olden times, a lizard falling on a person or a lizard making noise were considered bad omens of things to come. Thus, a person seated near Baba said, Baba, why is that lizard chirping? Is anything bad about to happen? Baba replied, oh, that lizard is making a noise because its sister will be coming from Aurangabad to meet it. The questioner was absolutely flabbergasted. Lizard's sister coming from such a long distance away? How does this lizard know about that? And do lizards have warm family relationships? It can't be. Baba must be joking. That is what the person who asked the question thought. At that moment, a person came from Aurangabad riding a horse. He wanted to have Baba's darshan, but Baba had just gone inside for a bath. The traveller therefore thought he might as well use the time to buy some feed for his horse. So, he took out the feed bag, which was almost empty. Holding the bag upside down, he shook it vigorously to empty it, when a lizard dropped out. Meanwhile, Baba was back, and he told the devotee who had earlier asked the question about the lizard, now watch carefully this lizard that has come out of the bag. This is the sister lizard that has come from Aurangabad. Even as Baba was saying this, the visitor lizard made a dash towards its elder sister, resident of Shirdi. And when the two sisters met, there was a veritable love feast, with the two sisters chirping away, circling each other and whatnot. As Hematpan says, where is Aurangabad and where is Shirdi? Yet, these two lizards from these two places did meet as Baba had foretold, and they demonstrated in abundant measure the joy of meeting each other. Moreover, even though they together made a lot of noise, nothing bad came out of it. As Hematpan says, this event not only established that there are numerous mysteries in this world that humans hardly know about, but also that God knows everything about everything all the time. As Hematpan says, quote, mysterious and inscrutable are the strings that control the great sport of this universe. Who can imagine them? They leave everyone puzzled, unquote. In the Gita, Krishna says that one of the reasons for God to come in human form is to remind man of his true nature. The lesson taught by God to man is sometimes called Atma Vidya, or knowledge of the self. As Krishna points out to Arjuna, man is very forgetful and therefore needs many repetitions of this lesson of Atma Vidya, which is one of the reasons for God to come again and again in human form to play the role of a teacher. Now, this Atma Vidya is taught by the avatar in various ways. When the Lord came as Rama, he did not deliver lectures or homilies, he simply lived his message. As Krishna, the Lord no doubt lived his message, avatars invariably do this, but in a memorable episode, imparted Atma Vidya to Arjuna in the battlefield as a symbolic reminder of the fact that the battles of life can be fought only with the help of supreme knowledge. From what Hematpan tells us, in Shirdi, the avatar adopted a very novel posture. Quote, under the cover of not knowing anything, he in reality removes ignorance and gives us knowledge. Without transgressing the limits set by the Shastras, he imparts instructions to his devotees in a pleasant manner. End of quote. I will narrate one incident that illustrates Baba's unique way of imparting knowledge of the self. Later, we shall discuss another incident where again knowledge is imparted but in a very different manner. For the moment, let me focus on the first incident. This concerns a man who had everything one could possibly want: wealth, children, servants, etc. His thoughts then drifted towards Baba, and this is how Himmat Pant describes the thoughts. Quote, Baba, this man thought, is a great Brahmagyani, the brightest gem amongst sadhus and saints. Let me place my head at his feet, for his ways are just inscrutable. I want nothing, so let me ask for Brahmagyana, or the knowledge of the Supreme. If I can get even this very easily, I shall be blessed indeed. End of quote from Himmat Pant. Now, when this man told about his desire to get Brahmagyana to a friend of his, a devotee of Baba, of course, this friend said in reply, You want to know about Brahman or the Supreme God? Why, that's not easy for you, a fellow for whom wealth, comfort and attachment alone mean happiness. God will not reveal himself to a greedy person like you, miser. Maybe in your old age, when you become feeble and the world does not care for you, you might have a real yearning for God, but right now, I think your desire for Brahmagyana is just fanciful craving. Strong words, but the seeker was not turned off. He was determined to go to Shirdi, offer obeisance to Baba, and ask him for Brahmagyana. So, to Shirdi he went, offered obeisance to Sai, and made his plea. Let us allow Himmat Pant to tell us what happened next. Quote, So he said, Baba, please show me the Brahman. With this sole desire in my heart have I come. People say that Shirdi Baba shows Brahman without any delay. Hence I have come all this long way, and after my journey I am very tired. But if I can now attain that Brahman, I will have accomplished the object of all my efforts. Baba said, Do not worry. I will show you the Brahman promptly at once. There is no question of credit dealings here. But it is people like you who ask for Brahman who are rare. People ask for an abundance of wealth and prosperity, or for the cure of a disease, removal of difficulties, or for fame, honor, power and authority. It is happiness they always ask for. People come running to Shirdi only to ask for material pleasures and worship me, a fakir, for that. But no one asks for Brahman. These pleasure-loving people, I have an abundance of them. It is people like you who are in dearth, and I crave for such seekers of Brahman. I shall show you not only Brahman, but the entire coil or the essence that is Brahman, which is enveloping you from tip to toe, and which I shall unwind and separate. End of quote. The man who had come in search of instant Brahmagyana was no doubt highly flattered and mighty pleased. But little did he know about the drama that Baba was about to play. After flattering the visitor to the high heavens, Baba made him sit down and immediately began to direct his attention elsewhere, in typical Baba fashion, one might say. First, Baba beckoned a boy and asked him to go to the house of one Nandu and borrow urgently 5 rupees with the promise that Baba would return the money soon. The errand boy went to Nandu's house but found it locked. When he reported the matter, Baba said, Go to the house of Bala the grocer. Maybe he is at home, and if he is, ask him for the 5 rupees. So to Bala's house the boy went, but Bala also was not there. This went on for some time. Baba would send the boy to someone's house, and the boy would come back and report that the concerned person was not to be found. The poor errand boy was getting frustrated by these trips, but Baba kept on sending him again and again, though he knew full well that none of these persons were at home. What was behind all this strange drama, and what about the person who wanted Brahmagyana in a tearing hurry? I am coming precisely to that. Well, the man who had come seeking instant Brahmagyana was also getting fed up, and he said, Baba, show me the Brahman quickly. The moment had finally come, and we shall turn to Himmat Pant to hear what Baba said. Quote, Baba then said, Have I not made every effort to show you the Brahman from the place you are? Have you understood absolutely nothing? For the sake of Brahman, one has to surrender the 5 vital air, the 5 organs of knowledge, the 5 organs of action, ego, intellect, and the mind. End of quote. After saying this, Baba launched into a remarkable discourse on the real and the unreal, on the nature of the Atma, etc. One might say it was a crash course on the Bhagavad Gita. The listeners sat stunned while the crowd of devotees hearing Baba's exposition were overjoyed to hear something the like of which they did not hear often from Baba. At the end of it all, Baba said essentially to this man, instant seeker, "There you were sitting waiting for Brahmagyana while I was sending the boy for a loan of 5 rupees, just 5 rupees. You have a lot of money in your pocket. Take it out and count." The man pulled out a wad of currency notes from the inner pocket of his coat and counted the bundle. There were 25 notes, each of 10 rupees, making 250 rupees in all. Baba then said, "You had so much money with you, and yet you did not offer to me a mere 5 rupees. Why? Because of greed and attachment. When you are so attached to money, how can you have the time to meditate on Brahman? Greed is the enemy of spiritual progress, and greed is so entrenched in your mind. How then can you ask for Brahmagyana?" People do this all the time. They come to Swami and seek not what is really valuable, but trinkets and trivia. Swami always obliges, being the compassionate one. But alas, the more trinkets Swami gives, the more they want of it. Swami used to say in the old days, "There you are under the Kalpavriksha, or the wish-fulfilling tree, and all you are asking for is coffee powder." And yet he always obliged. You know why? Because, as he once said, "I give you what you want so that you might one day ask what I have come to the world to give." God incarnates to help man acquire eternal wisdom and spiritual knowledge, but man prefers transient objects of the world instead. That is why it is said in Vedanta, what seems real is unreal, while what seems unreal is actually real. Turning now to the question of knowledge, many imagine that knowledge is given by a guru. That is not correct. Then who is it that confers knowledge? The answer to that is available to us via a beautiful incident to which I shall now turn. It all started with the devotee Nana Chandorkar, who one day was pressing Baba's feet, and while he was doing so, Nana was softly chanting the verses from the Bhagavad Gita. There was at that time a feeling amongst many of the devotees that while Baba definitely had extraordinary divine aspects and powers, he was nevertheless deficient in many worldly capabilities. For example, Baba was supposed not to know Sanskrit. On this particular day, in a manner unique to him, Baba demolished that myth. At the moment Baba decided to intervene, Nana was chanting the 34th verse of the 4th chapter of the Gita. The literal translation of that verse is as follows: "Seek jnana or enlightenment by serving and prostrating before illumined souls, and learn through reverential questioning." At this point, Baba said, "Nana, what is it that you are muttering and mumbling? Why don't you say loudly, distinctly and clearly, so that I too can hear what you are mumbling under your breath?" The great devotee that he was, Nana immediately obeyed. He first recited the verse in Sanskrit and then gave the literal translation in Marathi. After that, he gave the gist of that verse in prose. Hemad Pant tells us what exactly Nana said to Baba. Quote, Nana said, "He who prostrates in obeisance at the Guru's feet, he who is ready to give up his life in the Guru's service and puts a question to the Guru very respectfully, to him the jnanis give knowledge with exposition." End of quote. When Nana said this to Baba, there began an intense dialogue session. Baba started asking Nana all sorts of questions, insisting on the meaning of every single word in the Sanskrit original. Nana, who till then thought that Baba did not know Sanskrit, was absolutely floored and perhaps even a bit frustrated. But at the end of it all, Baba pointed out something most profound that almost everyone till then had overlooked. And what was that? That is connected with the statement, Jnani is given knowledge with exposition. Now, this knowledge is really knowledge of the self, and it is already within each person because the self or the Atma is already there within everyone. Shirdi Baba therefore asked Nana, where is the need to give you what you already have? This raises the question, then what on earth do the gurus do? What on earth are they supposed to be doing? What is it that they give instruction? What is it that they teach? That is what Shirdi Baba described brilliantly. He said, worldly gurus tell you about ajnana or ignorance. When they do that, they are essentially scrubbing the seeker clean of the outer layers of ignorance that are covering true knowledge or jnana. In other words, gurus do not impart jnana or wisdom, but scrub the student clean so that the jnana or wisdom within gets exposed and shines. This is a remarkably original interpretation of the Gita, and only the Lord is capable of this clarity. I recall in this context one evening when Narsimurti, the Vrindavan warden, spoke about this incident in front of Swami in Trai. Later, Swami gave a discourse on this very topic. He explained, as only he can, how jnana is already within us, and all we have to do is to clean ourselves up, spiritually that is, so that ultimate wisdom appears to dawn on us. Like the Baba of Shirdi, our own beloved Bhagavan too has his own style of teaching wonderful lessons in incredibly simple fashion. I am sure you are all aware of that. As I go through this series of broadcasts, I constantly feel how many similarities there are between Swami in Shirdi and Swami here as the Lord of Parthi. What do you feel? Do you feel the same way as I do? Why don't you write and tell us what you think? Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
लोभ मोह माया टाकून अवघ्यांची, लोभ मोह माया टाकून अवघ्यांची,
लोभ मोह माया टाकून अवघ्यांची, लोभ मोह माया टाकून अवघ्यांची.
धरा सद्गुरुची पाऊलेती, धरा सद्गुरुची पाऊलेती. गुरु पाया माझी आहे सर्व काही, गुरु पाया माझी आहे सर्व काही.
गुरु पाया माझी आहे सर्व काही, गुरु पाया माझी आहे सर्व काही.
गुरु विण नाही सार्थकता, गुरु विण नाही सार्थकता. गुरु कामधेनु गुरु कल्पकता, गुरु कामधेनु गुरु कल्पकता.
गुरु कामधेनु गुरु कल्पकर्ता, गुरु कामधेनु गुरु कल्पकर्ता.
चिंतेची वारीता चिंतामणी, चिंतेची वारीता चिंतामणी. गुरु भक्ती ठाई जो का एकनिष्ठ, गुरु भक्ती ठाई जो का एकनिष्ठ.
गुरु भक्ती ठाई जो का एकनिष्ठ, गुरु भक्ती ठाई जो का एकनिष्ठ.
त्रिलोकी तो श्रेष्ठ गणू म्हणे, त्रिलोकी तो श्रेष्ठ गणू म्हणे. गुरु भक्ती ठाई जो का एकनिष्ठ, गुरु भक्ती ठाई जो का एकनिष्ठ.